I bought every single drugstore concealer so you don't have to, and today we're going to test them out back to back, starting from least expensive to most expensive. So let's get right into it. All right, starting with the first one. This is the least expensive. This one is a whopping $4.50. Now I want to just say this out loud before we get too far into this video. Depending on which retailer, which drugstore you purchase your concealers, the price may vary quite a bit. But for example, I purchased all of the concealers I'm about to show you at Walmart. I think Walmart has A, the best selection, and B, I've talked about this before, I think they had the best prices by far. So if you could pick any of these items up at Walmart, I highly recommend it because you'll get the best deal for sure, in my opinion, and in my experience doing these videos. So let's get into the first one. It's from Wet n Wild. What a classic drugstore brand. Wet n Wild is just like one of those quintessential drugstore makeup brand. It is the Incognito All Day Full Coverage Concealer. I picked up the shade Light Medium. Okay, so let's try it out. Has a cute little doe foot. I love doe foot applicators. These are, you know, probably my favorite applicators. They're just easy. Okay, so texture wise, let's just get into it. Let's just feel it out. So it has a nice texture to it. It's not too liquidy. It's kind of like a nice cream, like an in-between kind of cream formula. Now I want to blend this out with my N14 with BK Beauty. So I'm going to start with a tapping motion like I usually do. So tapping it in to keep the coverage where I really need it, which you'll see like is right here under my eye. I have a lot of redness. So I'm tapping it and then I'm going to blend out the rest just so I can see how it performs with different blending techniques. Okay, so it's pretty. I wouldn't say this is a full coverage. I'd say that it looks like it's going to go on full coverage because it does go on, it applies pretty full coverage. Let's see how we can layer it just because I want to really put this to the test. It just ended up being a lot more sheer than it said it was going to be. Okay, so it's definitely buildable. You can definitely build it up. It feels nice. It has a really lightweight feeling to it, to be honest. There's no fragrance to it whatsoever. There's no scent at all. So if that's something that's important to you, I feel like that's a bonus. The price is obviously extremely affordable. I like the applicator. I'd say other than the fact that it says it's a full coverage, and it's definitely not unless you layer it like I just did. And even then, I'm not getting like a maximum amount of coverage right here where I really need the coverage. Like this is where if I don't have a full coverage, I will see my dark circles. Obviously, I don't even have a color corrector on. And if I did, that would help counteract that instantly. But we're not talking about color correctors in this video. And we're obviously not going to utilize them because I want to make sure you see exactly what these concealers are going to do on their own, left to their own devices. So left to its own device, it's still pretty sheer right here. And I could definitely see my dark circles poking through. But the rest of it blended out really nice. It has a pretty quick dry down time, which I like that with a concealer. I like that kind of feeling, and it tells me it's gonna stay put longer and just kind of wear longer throughout the day, which is a bonus to me. I feel like if you had dry skin, you'd still be fine wearing this. I don't think it's like a drying formula. It just feels like a satin to matte formula. That's how I would describe the feeling of this. So I'd say this is good for anyone who doesn't need a really full coverage concealer because it definitely blends out to be a medium coverage. Do I like it? I actually do. I'm pretty impressed with this. And for $4.50, depending on where you buy it, I think this is a really good deal. So if you're looking for something inexpensive and it has a nice applicator, it's a nice formula, it does look overall pretty smooth too, in my opinion. It doesn't look like I feel very flawless under my eyes, minus the fact that I just wish I had more coverage right there. So again, anyone who's looking for a medium coverage, it has a nice smoothing effect. It has a nice dry down, a nice finish to it. It blends really easy. The price point is like unbeatable. Let's be real. So I'd recommend this for anyone looking for a medium coverage concealer. And I think this is a really good one. I would definitely actually repurchase this one if I felt the need to. I don't need any more concealers, but I definitely would go out and repurchase this one. So that again is the Wet n Wild Incognito Concealer. Coming in at just under $5, depending on where you buy it. I bought mine for $4.97. It's the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop. I've actually used this before in the past, and I think it's a really great, inexpensive concealer. So let's try it on. I haven't used it in a couple years, so this is going to be kind of like a fresh new try on with this concealer. I picked up the shade Medium Olive, and I like that they had an olive undertone, or a claiming to be olive undertone concealer. So let's try this out. First off, I love the doe foot. I love a doe foot applicator with concealers. I don't like a brush applicator. I feel like it's just too messy. So nice little sponge doe foot. Let's pop it right here. Now, forewarning, a lot of these shades are going to look like they're too dark for me because, as you can see, my face is extremely pale compared to the rest of my body. So Normally if I had foundation on and I was putting these on top of my foundation shade, which matches the whole picture, like my whole body, it would look more like the right color. But just a forewarning, some of these might look much darker than they should be. So now that I got that out of the way, let's apply a little swipe over here as well. Love the consistency of this right off the bat. I can tell it has a nice consistency. Now let's blend this one out with the N16. This is my N16 brush with BK Beauty. I'm gonna start in the same way I always start my concealer application. I'm gonna tap it in and let's see where this concealer and this journey takes us. And also, is this marketed as a full coverage? Doesn't say whether or not it's a full coverage. I'm guessing it's going to be marketed as a full coverage. All right, so this one definitely dries down very quickly. It definitely is a full coverage. I did not pick the right shade for my face in case you were noticing, but you know, that's going to happen a lot with drugstore products. It's just based on, you know, what I could tell in the bottle and with the name descriptions, and also based on the selection of colors that was available for me in store when I was picking this out. I chose the best I could. So I'm gonna use a tip of my brush to blend into where I have fine lines under my eye, like right here. So, okay, let's talk about this. That was incredibly easy to blend on, like absolutely incredibly easy. Feels really nice on my skin. Feels very smooth. Has a nice smooth finish. It definitely has more of like an airbrush type quality, like a more like HD type quality to it. To me, this looks like a high-end concealer. Absolutely. The price is unbeatable. Let's be real. Like the price is so unbeatable. I would say if you have normal to dry skin, great. Even if you have dry skin, if you prep your under eyes in a nice way and you prep them appropriately for your skin type, I think even a dry skin type could definitely wear this under their eyes. I don't see there being an issue. I think if you have oily skin, it's going to be a phenomenal concealer. I think it would also be nice for like spot concealing too, since it is a liquid that has like a quick dry down time. Like those are the type of liquid concealers that work really well for spot concealing because they dry down quickly. So you maintain that coverage right away. It allows you just to blend it into your skin and while keeping the coverage, if that makes sense. So I love it for like this kind of finish where it dries down fast for spot concealing. Excellent. Color aside, because I did not pick the right shade for myself, clearly, I think this is a really fantastic drugstore concealer. I could see myself using this 100%. I wish they had more colors when I went to go pick this up. I'll just pick one up online. But either way, great finish, has great dry down time, has a great blendability to it, feels nice, feels lightweight. The coverage is overall pretty great. I would definitely recommend this one. I think this is a fantastic drugstore formula. It's incredibly inexpensive, feels very luxurious, like a higher end concealer. I mean, this feels a lot like, kind of like the Hourglass, the Vanish concealer. I use that in my professional kit, so I'm very familiar with it. Obviously, it reminds me a lot of the Makeup Forever HD. I think this was actually like marketed as like a dupe for that one back when this first came out. So I think this is great. Highly recommend this one. I would definitely go out and repurchase it. And once again, this is the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop concealer. Same price, just under $5. This was $4.97 at Walmart. This is the Rimmel London Stay Matte Soft Matte Concealer. I picked up the shade Vanilla. All right, just vanilla. Nice and straightforward. So let's try it out. Cute little doe foot. Doesn't have a fragrance, so that's nice. Let's test this out. The shade is nice. Very nice shade so far. It feels nice, but you know, I'm just applying it, so it doesn't tell us much. Do the same technique. I'm just going to swipe a little bit over here, and this is definitely a lot more wet in consistency than the last two. I'm going to blend this out with my N14 with BK Beauty. Start with the same thing. I'm going to tap it in. Now I'm assuming since this says it's a matte formula that it's going to be a quick dry down, but let's see. We'll let this kind of marinate while I blend in this side. Coverage is okay. Okay, actually the coverage is nice. Blends in very easy. It's looking nice and flawless. It's feeling really nice. So now let's do a swiping motion just to see how it performs. Okay, blends out easy. Okay, this is nice. It actually is not drying down as quick as I thought it would. So just something to kind of note. I'm curious what this overall finish is going to be once it's done drying down. It's supposed to be a matte finish. So it's blended in. I'm just going to buff out the edges. Okay. All right, so it's dried down a touch. I feel like the coverage could be just a little bit more, but maybe that's just my personal preference. Okay, now while this is drying down a little bit more, I'm just gonna read the claim. I didn't see that there was an actual claim on the back of the container. So it claims to be a long-wear formula, conceals and hides dark circles and imperfections while controlling shine for 24 hours. Okay, all right, so that's it. Okay, so I've given it a couple seconds. It's definitely dried down. So you know what? I mean, this could be a good concealer if you want to wear minimal powder under your eye, since this does have a pretty good dry down It's meant to have a more matte finish. Matte finishes just inevitably have a longer wear time, and you need just inevitably less powder to lock them into place because they have powder, you know, film formers inside of the formula to help them dry down and dry down in a matte way. So if you're someone who's looking for a concealer that's going to be a quicker dry down time, it has more of a matte finish, you therefore have to set it with less powder, if powder at all, then this could be a really good one to check out. It's under $5. It feels nice. The coverage could be just a little bit more in my opinion, but that's just a personal preference. So if you're looking for like a good medium coverage that feels lightweight, that has a quick dry down time, and I feel like this would be long wearing, to be quite honest. The way it dries down on my skin, I feel like this is going to wear a pretty long time. So I think this is all in all a really good pick. Unless you have really dry under eyes, I wouldn't suggest using this one. So I would recommend this one for anyone who has oily skin, normal skin, combo to dry, but not severely dry. So if you fit any of those other descriptions and you want a good long wearing concealer, I definitely think this is worth checking out. So once again, that is the Rimmel Stay Matte Soft Matte Concealer. Next up is $5.97, so just under $6. It's from Hard Candy. It's the Glamouflage Full Coverage Concealer. This is also supposed to brighten your skin. It has licorice root in it. I don't know why, but it does. And I bought the shade medium, so let's try it out. Now, I had a really bad experience. If you saw my drugstore foundation haul, I had a really terrible experience with the Hard Candy foundation. So I don't have the highest hopes, but I also don't want to go into it in a negative mindset. So let's clear the slate, try it with new eyes. I do like the big doe foot applicator. This is like very nice, very reminiscent of the Tarte Shape Tape concealer. Let's try it out. It actually feels a lot like Shape Tape as well. Very thick, very full coverage. That's a full coverage concealer. I love the applicator. It's nice. I love these kind of applicators. They're my favorite. All right, so let's blend it out with a now clean N16. I'm gonna start in the tapping motion like I always do. I'm gonna tap it and see if this picks up, if it stays put. Okay, so far it's staying put really well. If the formula isn't good, sometimes you'll notice that when you go to blend it in with a brush, the brush just picks up the product from the skin, and that's never a good sign. So far, so good. I definitely like that coverage. The coverage is nice. The shade isn't bad either. I can wear this out and make this shade work totally. All right, let's do some blending on this side. Yeah, this is definitely a full coverage. It has a quick dry down time. I think this would be a great concealer for oily skin. Like this dried down way quicker, I just want to point this out, than the Stay Matte from Rimmel that's marketed to be a matte finish. This dried down almost instantly and it has more coverage. Okay, yeah, so you definitely have to work really quick with this one. Okay, so me talking, in between talking, this area completely dried down and I'm not really able to fully blend out this area right here. So it's not like completely blended. So just something to keep in mind, this dries down super quick, like within seconds. So it's not one of those concealers that you can like apply, blend out, and then go to blend out the side. By the time you get to this eye, I would assume it's going to be completely dry just based on how quick it dried on my skin on this eye. I think the finish of this is really nice. This has a nice smooth finish. I don't feel like it's accentuated my fine lines under my eye right here that, you know, we all have. I feel like it looks really smooth. Other than the dry down time being really quick, just something to keep in mind, I think this is a really nice formula. I'm so pleasantly surprised by this Hard Candy concealer. Even like looking at myself in the mirror, I feel like I look really smooth and really flawless under my eyes. I recommend this. I think this is good. If you're looking for an inexpensive, full coverage concealer that has a matte finish and has a quick dry down time, and also just to point out too, since this dried down so quick, I feel like you would have to set it with very minimal powder, so that could be a bonus depending on like what your skin type is. I think even if you have really, really dry skin, you could still get away with using this one if you properly prep your under eyes for concealer. So just something to keep in mind. Do I recommend this one? I actually do. I think this is surprisingly a really good formula. I'm very pleasantly surprised. Would I go back out and repurchase this one? I don't see why I wouldn't, if that's fair. I don't need to because I have a massive amount of concealers, just to point that out. But if I needed a concealer in a pinch and I wanted it to be affordable, I would repurchase this one from Hard Candy. So once again, that is the Hard Candy Glamouflage Full Coverage Concealer. Next up is ALMAY Ageless Hydrating Concealer. Comes in a little squeezy tube. I have to open this. This says it contains niacinamide, which is a nice bonus. So I picked up the shade 020 Light Medium. So this is what it looks like. Cute little tube. So it's a squeeze tube. So what I'm gonna do is just squeeze some out on the top of my hand, just like that. And then we're gonna apply it with a brush. Okay, let's apply it with a clean N16 brush. I'm gonna dip into it. I like the consistency so far. And let's tap it on. Okay, what does this claim to do? So hydrating concealer. It definitely feels hydrating. I'm gonna give it that for sure. It has a serum-y kind of feeling. It almost feels like cool on my skin because it's, and even in comparison to the last, what, 4 that I just did too, this definitely feels very, very hydrating. So that's nice. It's blending out nice, blending out very easy. It's a little difficult to get coverage with this one because it is more on the, you know, like liquidy side. It's very movable. I believe if you could probably layer this actually. Let me just layer this a little bit more. So I'm gonna squeeze out some more. I mean, so far that's really pretty. And the color is nice too. Even though it's not about the shades, but I do feel like this is it's actually a perfect concealer shade for me. So I'm gonna layer a little bit more with my same brush. I'm just gonna tap it in to get more coverage because I want the coverage. But I think if you're someone who is just looking for a more natural finish and just like a normal amount of coverage, like a medium, like a light to medium coverage, and you have dry under eyes, I think I'm really impressed. I have not had one bad one yet in this bunch. This looks beautiful. Like the more I play with this, wow, yeah, the more I play with this looks fantastic. I'm gonna buff out the edges and just see how this blends out. I mean, it blends out really beautifully, honestly. I'm very wowed by this concealer, and I'm not a huge ALMAY fan. I've never had any products that really worked for me from ALMAY, so I'm really happy that like I finally found something that's actually working from ALMAY. This is really pretty. This is really, really pretty. It feels really nice on my skin. It feels really lightweight. It actually does have a hydrating feel to it. I believe it or not, it really does have a nice, smooth, hydrating feeling. This is a standout. This is really nice. I'm so pleasantly surprised by this concealer. I think this is definitely a hit, more for like anyone who's looking for, like I said, more of a lightweight, light to medium coverage. And anyone who has normal to dry skin or mature under eyes, I think this is a really good one to check out for sure. I also feel like I just want to do one more thing, okay? I want to just feel it, okay? So I'm just going to use a little bit more on my fingertips and push it in. I just want to get more of a feel for this. Yeah, this is a great concealer. This is really nice. I promise I'll move on in just a minute, but I just wanted to see. Okay. No, actually, no, the finger is not the best method. Fingers, I just wanted to test it out. The finger is not the best method. It definitely lifted up the concealer a little bit, like my finger did. Okay, let's see. Final thoughts. I think this is great. I highly recommend this for anyone with, like I said, normal to dry, and mature. Check it out. This is really pretty. The price is good. It's just what? It's $6, it's $5.98. So it's just under $6 depending on where you purchase it. I think this is a really good one. I have to say, I would definitely recommend this one from ALMAY. So once again, it's the ALMAY Ageless Hydrating Concealer. I mean, look at that's so pretty. Okay, I have to warn you because the next couple ones in a row are giving me flashbacks of being a teenager, just being completely lost on how to cover up pimples on my face. And they're not good memories. They're really not good memories. So I'm trying to anyway, we're gonna get into it. These are stick concealers, the next couple ones coming up. This one is from Maybelline. If you don't recognize this, then I don't know. I don't know where you've been in life, but this is like a classic drugstore concealer. It's a stick twist up. It looks like a lipstick. I can smell this already and it's not good. I can already smell like the waxy, it's just, okay. So I had to put this on my face. It's the Maybelline Cover Stick Concealer. I picked up a shade 140 medium beige and I guess that's the only claims. Okay, medium coverage. Covers completely, it says. Cool, okay. Now I remember this not covering completely, but okay. And also remember the shade choices just being absolutely horrendous. They're horrible. I mean, they're atrociously bad. They're so bad. So anyway, let's get into it. I'm not thrilled about this one, and just buying this formula, honestly, was not fun. But for the sake of this video, let's put this on. And let's just go for it. Let's just swipe it on. Did I mention the price? I don't think I did. This is $6.78 if I did not mention it at Walmart. So I'm gonna, all right. All right, that went on easier than I remember. I'll be honest, that went on a lot easier than I remember. Maybe they changed the formula in the last 20 years. I haven't used this in probably 20 years, 15 years, 20 years. I don't know. It's been a long time. Maybe they updated it. Let's go in with our fingers and just pat this out for a second. Okay. It just looks heavy. No, not the fingers. No, that's not the move. That is not the move. Let's grab the N16 and blend this sucker out. Yeah, okay. The brush is the move, not the fingers. So this is my problem, okay? It goes on full coverage and then it blends into like nothing. Like it's patchy, the formula is inconsistent. You know, I feel like my under eyes look better without it and I have dark circles. So it's just not, it's not modern formula. Yeah, I feel like it blends out into nothing. Let's just try this again. Let's layer this a bit. I remember buying this to cover up pimples like on my cheeks and stuff and just being so frustrated as a teenager because it just looked so bad. Yeah, okay, so I mean, it's definitely like, you can obviously build it up to be more coverage. I just think it's a terrible formula. I really do. I would never recommend a stick, like an old school, outdated formula like this. There's so many great, like you just saw like, what, 5 different drugstore formulas that look phenomenal under the eyes. So with that said, I don't even want to like go back into too much detail about this. This is just a very outdated formula. Stay away from it, in my opinion. You're so much better off using anything else other than these sticks. I just think they're a terrible finish, and they're just underwhelming. Like I said, they're very underwhelming. Unless you really layer it and build it up, it's still patchy too. Like there's just inconsistencies with the coverage. I can't stand it. I really can't stand this formula. I don't recommend this one from Maybelline. I think there's so many other better options for the price. Yeah, it's a good deal, but don't waste your money. So once again, that's the Maybelline cover stick. Okay, next up is $6.78 from Walmart. It is the CoverGirl CG Smoothers Concealer in the shade, I picked up the shade 715 Medium. So another stick. Let's bust it open. Let's try it out. Okay, looks like a little lipstick. Now, I think these did have more, a better shade range, but still like pretty terrible. You know, it was better than this shade range, I could tell you that, but it's still pretty bad. Like very not, they didn't earn any points by any means. So anyway, let's go and swipe this onto my eyes. Oh gosh, okay. Oh. I will say this color is better because it has more of a peachy tone to it. Okay, let's blend this out with a N16. All right, so this one's definitely overall better, I can tell. I can tell right away it's overall better than that last one. It's still not good though. Formula is patchy, you know, there's just inconsistencies. Like it blends out pretty easy, but it's just not a smooth, it's not a smooth formula. I just don't think you should waste your time on these stick concealers at all. It does have more of a moisturizing feel to it than the last one. It definitely feels like less like thick and pasty than the last one did, but I still wouldn't recommend it. The coverage, like I said, is very inconsistent. They're not the easiest products to work with, and there's just overall so many better formulas on the market. Don't waste your money. Even though it's under $7, I don't think it's worth trying out, in my opinion. I really, really don't. So would I repurchase this one? I think you obviously know that I would not. I definitely would not repurchase this one from CoverGirl. But once again, that is the CoverGirl Stick Concealer. Next one is also from CoverGirl. It's a liquid. Thank God. Can't wait to move on to a liquid. It's the same price. It's about $6.78. And I don't have high hopes because of the way this is already settled in the tube. You can see it's like separated a whole bunch right here. It's like, yeah. So we'll see. It's supposed to be a clean, invisible concealer. So, okay. I imagine the coverage is going to be a little less than a lot. So new and improved formula, it says. It's fragrance free. I picked up the shade 107 Light Beige. And that's all. Okay, in the back, let me just read this really quick. So the back says, lightweight, creamy formula provides light, buildable coverage for a breathable, skin-like finish made with 100% natural or origin pigments. The silky formula glides on easily and blends in so seamlessly it virtually disappears. I imagine this is going to disappear because the formula is not going to be great, but I don't know. Let's just try to shake this up a little bit. Okay, no, not happening. Nice little doe foot applicator. Okay. Yeah, that definitely feels lightweight. There's no scent at all, like nothing to it. This actually might be good. I'm going to blend this out with my N14 brush. So again, it says it's supposed to, you know, blend into your skin and basically become invisible. So if you're someone who really needs coverage, I'd say right off the bat, this is not going to be for you. Oh, that actually, look how fast that dried down. And I didn't leave that alone for that long. Like that's, look at that. And I'm applying pressure. That's already completely dry. That's weird. Okay, so then it dries down and it looks very patchy. Okay, I mean, do I really have to rub my eyes that hard to blend it in? Yeah, no, that formula is bad. That looks terrible. I feel like it's completely settled into, I don't know if you can see this, but my fine lines under my eyes right here. Let's do this a solid go. Like, let's really give this a good solid go and try another layer. And let's blend it out right away because clearly this dries down within seconds. So can you layer it is the question. Can you build it up? Not really. No, not well. It's still going on very patchy. It's just not a good formula. That's really like a bad, for lack of a better way to put it, it's a bad formula. It's just not a good formula. That's not cute. Totally has settled into my fine lines right here. It's textury right here. It just looks patchy and not flattering at all. And this is not a flattering look under your eyes. I feel like my under eyes look worse with this product than just without. I'd rather rock like my under eye dark circles than really bad concealer that's gonna just emphasize fine lines and not give me coverage. So do I recommend this one from CoverGirl? Absolutely not. Would I go back out and repurchase it? No, definitely not. I'm probably going to put this away and never look at it again so I don't have to like deal with it. So once again, that's the CoverGirl Clean Invisible Concealer. Next up is just under $7 as well. It's $6.97. It's from CoverGirl. It is the Clean Matte Concealer. I picked up the shade 205 to 210 light medium. And this says in the back of it, it says, Clean Matte Concealer helps conceal dark circles and imperfections in an instant. The lightweight formula glides on smoothly, blends easily, and lasts all day. It's oil-free, won't clog your pores. Dermatologically tested. They all are. All right, let's open this up. I'm gonna mix this a little bit. Little doe foot applicator. Okay, feels nice so far. It's definitely a very light shade. All right, so far so good. Okay, I'm gonna blend this out with an N16. I'm gonna tap it. Okay, well, it blends out very easy. It is very liquidy, very runny. It's a runny formula, and it also blends out to be incredibly sheer. Yeah, not good. I mean, it basically doesn't do a whole lot of anything, to be honest. Clean matte. Now, this doesn't have a matte finish. Granted, it hasn't fully dried down yet, but I mean, I don't think this is gonna dry down to be very matte. It's just not doing. Actually, it's drying down a little bit more. Okay, it's drying down a touch more, but the coverage is terrible for this. This is not a great coverage at all. If you're looking for a light coverage and you just don't need a lot of coverage, then this could definitely work for you. But if you're someone like me who has dark circles and you're trying to actually cover up your dark circles or like imperfections, I don't think this is going to be the one to choose. I really do not. I don't like the marketing too that it's clean. I just don't like that. That's just very misleading because what's clean about it? You know, like why, how is this clean versus your other CoverGirl formulas? And are the other CoverGirl formulas dirty? Like, is this one dirty and filled with poison? Because makeup is makeup for the most part. So I don't like that marketing tactic of like, oh, this one's clean, like buy this one. The other one's bad. Okay, so now that I've talked, this is definitely dried down a lot more. Let me just touch it. And since it's dried down, it actually looks a lot more smooth, which I like and I appreciate. I don't feel like this is accentuated like my fine lines under my eyes right here at all. I think it looks pretty smooth and decent. But the formula itself and the amount of coverage that you get is really inconsistent and almost has a patchy quality to it right around here. So it did dry down to be matte, so at least it delivered that claim, which I do like. So if you are someone who has like more like oily skin, great. But if you have dry skin, you could probably use this as well, and you'll have to use a lot less power to set it and lock into place, which is a bonus. Let's talk about coverage. Coverage-wise, I think it's a miss. It's a total miss on the coverage. I don't think the coverage is good. The coverage is very inconsistent. For that reason, I wouldn't recommend it, and for that reason, I also wouldn't go back out and repurchase it. But once again, this is a CoverGirl Clean Matte Concealer. Next up, we have the ALMAY Clear Complexion Concealer. This is supposed to target, clear, calm, and restore. Great. I picked up the shade light medium, and this is $6.98 where I purchased it, which was at Walmart. Again, the prices are going to vary a lot from drugstore retailer to drugstore retailer, so just keep that in mind. Just let me read these facts on the back too. Okay. It just says hypoallergenic, dermatologist tested, oil-free, cruelty-free, all the things it should be. All right, let's try it on. It has maximum salicylic acid, prebiotics, and aloe. Oh, it's just a lot of claims. So here's the thing about this, right? So this is supposed to be a clear concealer, like clear complexion. If it has salicylic acid on it, you're not going to want to use this under your eyes. That's just the reality. So if you're buying a concealer that you want to be able to use for like spot concealing and for under your eyes, well, you would never want to put salicylic acid under your eyes. So I'm not going to test this under my eyes. I'm instead going to test this the way you should. Let's go around my nose. And let's go on my chin just to test it out. I like the texture of this. This actually has a really nice texture. The shade is not bad either. And I'm going to blend this out with an N14 and just see. Okay. All right. Well, that blended into nothing. I just blended that off my face. What happened to it? Let's tap it in. Okay. Yeah. This is a terrible formula. This is a really frustrating formula. So this formula, oh, wow. Hold on. I have to show you more. Let's do this on my cheek just to see. I have some redness on my cheek anyway, so it's probably a good idea to test it out right here. So this formula is very, very patchy. So even if I do like my best method, which is to tap and press it in, there's a patch right here and it's just inconsistent. This is not a cute formula, but then it's dry at the same time. Oh man, this is not good. And here's the thing, you know, like all the claims that it's claiming to do, like clear your skin, do this, do that, target, clear, calm, restore. I mean, that's a lot of claims for a concealer. Just get a concealer that's going to do what you need to do. Get a concealer that's going to give you coverage. It's going to, you know, cover up any imperfections that you're trying to cover up, right? And then treat your skin separate. I won't go into detail because I know I've talked about this a lot, so I'll kind of spare you, but keep your makeup separate from, like, don't rely on your makeup, is what I should say. Don't rely on your makeup to clear your skin, to, you know, fight wrinkles, to give you a youthful glow to your skin. I mean, makeup will do that, but don't rely on it to do anything that like an actual like active skincare ingredient would do. Keep them separate. They're going to be best suited when they're used separately. This is my opinion. You can argue with me if you want to. It's just my opinion. I think it's like less effective to try to find a concealer that's going to, you know, clear your acne and also cover up at the same time. Don't look for one product to do everything because if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? This is a terrible formula. I would not recommend this at all. I mean, it looks fine now that it's dried down, but it's very patchy. The blend, like blending it out it's not a good formula. That's all I can say. Would I recommend this? I don't recommend this one. Save your money, please. Get a good concealer and then actually treat your skin with the appropriate products and skincare that you need underneath. Would I go back out and buy this? Definitely not. So once again, that's the ALMAY Clear Complexion Concealer. Okay, next up, we have one for $7 flat, and I'm pretty sure it's $7 anywhere you purchase it or wherever you pick it up. At least I've seen it pretty much consistently, $7 throughout different drugstore and retailers. It is the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. This one is a fantastic concealer. Spoiler alert, I've used this for many years. It's a really great drugstore concealer, but let me show you why I like it, how it looks on. I haven't used this in a minute. I've used the hydrating one, which is coming up after this one, but it's a really great drugstore formula. So very much like the Tarte Shape Tape, especially with the applicator and just the overall packaging. This is very reminiscent of Tarte Shape Tape. Big doe foot applicator, great coverage. So let me show you why I like this. And also I should mention, I have the shade Medium Neutral. Medium Neutral is a solid shade for me. Okay, I'm using my N14 to blend this out. I'm gonna start in a tapping motion where I want the most coverage. So this is definitely, you can see the difference. This is a full concealer. Like this gives you what it claims to be. It's a full coverage concealer. It is honestly such a fantastic dupe for the Tarte Shape Tape concealer. If you are on a budget and you want a really great formula that is full coverage, you have got to try the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. It's just fantastic. So I'm going to use a blending motion to blend out the rest of this product. This one has a very soft matte finish, but it also gives you just such a beautiful, flawless, and smooth under eye. I mean, wherever you put it, it's going to look smooth and flawless. I can't recommend this one enough. Honestly, this is just a fantastic formula. Look how easy it is to blend out. There's no patchiness in the formula. The coverage is fantastic, like amazing coverage. So if you're someone who doesn't need this much coverage, then you'll definitely want to skip this one. It's not going to be for you. But even if you just want to like buy it and use just a tiny little dot of it, I obviously used a lot of, you saw me swipe on quite a bit. But even with that too, even with like a massive amount of product that I put under my eyes, it still looks really beautiful. And to me, it doesn't even look heavy. Even in person, like it doesn't look heavy. It's just a great concealer. So let me just rewind. So if you want a lot of coverage, this is your go-to. You have to get this one. You have got to try it, especially for the price. If you just want a little bit of coverage, I say you could still try this out and just use a tiny little dot, and that's all you need, and it will last you forever. Like, you'll never go back out and repurchase concealer because this will last you so long. If you have dry under eyes, make sure you prep your under eyes appropriately for your skin type. But I'd say that anyone can use this. So whether you're dry, oily, combo, if you have dark circles, you're gonna love this because it's gonna give you that maximum amount of coverage. If you don't have dark circles and you just want a little bit of coverage, just use a tiny little dot. So what I'm trying to say is I think this one is really for everyone. I really do. Highly recommend it. Would I go back out and repurchase this one? 1,000,000%. Do I recommend it? I recommend this for anyone. Anyone looking for a good, affordable concealer, you definitely need to check this one out. So once again, this is the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. Okay, next up is also from e.l.f. Cosmetics. It's $7. Great deal. It is the hydrating version of the one I just showed you, the Camo Concealer. It's the Hydrating Camo Concealer from e.l.f. I have the shade, did I get the same shade? Light Peach. So I got Light Peach in this one. Let's test it out. I haven't used this one in a couple years, but I have used this in the past, and it's a great concealer. So let me show you why I like it, what it looks like on. It has basically the exact same packaging. So it's more hydrating. And let's see, what else does it say? Okay, full coverage, satin finish. Love a satin finish, but it's hydrating. Great. So if you do have dry skin or dry under eyes, even though I do still think you could use this one. I really do if you just prep your skin the right way. But when in doubt, and if you have dry under eyes, you might as well pick up the hydrating version because it is going to be best for your skin type. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to swipe it on. I just love this big doe foot applicator. I'm going to blend it out with an N14. So this one has the same amount of coverage, but instead of having that matte finish that the Camo one does, this has a satin finish. You know, a little bit goes a long way. I keep forgetting that for some reason. Let me blend out the excess product. It's definitely a thick concealer. It does have more of a hydrating feel to it, but in my opinion, it's still like very similar to the Camo. Just has like a slight bit more of a hydrating feel to it. But overall, they're very, very similar. I think that they are interchangeable, to be quite honest, just depending on how you prep your skin. Except this one just has, you know, more of a natural, like a skin-like finish, whereas the other one definitely has a matte finish for sure. So just something to take into consideration. I think both are equally fantastic formulas, to be honest. The coverage is amazing. It blends out super easy. You need a tiny bit. I put on a lot just to demonstrate, but you need a really tiny, tiny bit. Unless you're going for a full-on, full coverage look to your under eyes or your complexion, then great. I think this gives you the best of both worlds. I think this gives you like the best of both worlds because you can either do a little bit or you can just full on get all the maximum amount of coverage. And again, I think this has a really lightweight feeling, which is surprising because it does have such a thick amount of coverage. It still feels pretty light under your eyes. It doesn't feel really, really heavy, and a little bit goes a long way. So would I recommend this e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer? 100%. It is a fantastic, fantastic drugstore formula. Would I go back out and repurchase it? Absolutely. So once again, that is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. Next up is also $7. This is the COVERGIRL Simply Ageless Triple Action Concealer. This has a whole lot of things going on. So let me just read off a couple things. First of all, I picked up the shade 330 Buff Beige. So this has a ceramic cooling wand. Interesting. I'm excited to try that out. So the point of the ceramic wand is it's supposed to be cooling. Therefore, it's going to help to depuff. So anything cool, like if you put like a cold spoon under your eyes, it will give you the same effect. So kind of interesting, right? So it's triple action concealer, depuff, conceal, care. What's the caring? So it's got a hyaluronic complex in it. What else does it say? Cooling ceramic wand for an instant cold effect. Lightweight, medium to full coverage. Radiant finish. Formula infused with hyaluronic complex, vitamin C, and niacinamide. Formula instantly reduces the appearance of wrinkles and hydrates for a more youthful looking, wide awake look. All right, let's bust this open. Okay, so here is the ceramic wand. Isn't it just plastic? Okay, so I have to take this little cap off. Let's try it out. Okay, no, that's just not convenient. Like, this is just not. You know, here's the thing. It's like expectation versus reality. The expectation is like, oh yeah, it's a ceramic wand. It's gonna cool. It's gonna do this and that. But the reality sucks because like that's not convenient. Okay, let me just try to get some more product. So all the product's just being pushed to here, which you know over time is gonna be messy. It's gonna overflow. It's gonna get all over the rest of your stuff in your makeup bag. Okay, let's just. No, that's not. This is so not convenient. to do. I feel like you know what it feels like? It feels like I am using a tester at like Sephora or a makeup counter where they purposely cut the doe foot off so you can't cross-contaminate and use it on your skin. That's what it feels like I'm using right now. It feels like I'm using a broken tester. And it's just weird. Like, that's just, ow. That's just so weird. That just like totally gripped my skin. No, that's not a cute idea. Not convenient at all. Let's blend this out and see if the formula is worth even talking about. Okay, formula is not bad, but the whole experience leading up to this is just not good. All right, the formula is not bad though. I have to be very honest. The formula is it's fine. Coverage is about a medium coverage. It dried down really quick. So for being a more hydrating concealer, that dried down very, very quick. And I don't have dry skin, so that kind of tells you something too. I mean, it's just kind of whatever. The formula is just nothing to write home about. It's not very smoothing. I feel like the texture and the fine lines under my eyes right here is not, it's not doing it any favors. It's not really hiding it in a nice way. It's not smoothing in any way. It dried down really quick. It doesn't feel like a hydrating formula. The coverage is okay, but there are so many better drugstore concealers on the market that are less gimmicky. And also, what was this one again? Like $7? Yeah, so $7. You're much better off with any of the other ones I showed you previously other than the sticks. It's just not a great formula, and it's not a great tool. It's not a great applicator. Actually, the applicator is beyond bad, to be quite honest. Would I recommend this one? No. The finish is just okay. It's very underwhelming. Would I go back out and repurchase this? I definitely would not. So once again, this is the CoverGirl Simply Ageless Triple Action Concealer. Next up is also $7. This one is from CoverGirl. It's the Outlast Extreme Wear Concealer. It says up to 24 hours. It's a full coverage. I picked up the shade 817 Golden Natural. And then there's a couple more claims on the side that I'm just going to read off. It's a extreme wear concealer. It is a full coverage concealer that instantly conceals discoloration and blemishes up to 24-hour wear. Lightweight on the skin, blends easily, and imparts a flawless finish. Transfer-proof, waterproof. A lot of claims. Okay, so this has like a squeezy tube. Let's open this up. I'm excited to try this one. Very excited, actually. So, little tube. Hopefully this color is somewhat good. Oops. Just gonna squeeze some out. I'm gonna grab my N16 brush and dip into the concealer. This has that wet paint drugstore fragrance to it, unfortunately. But let's see how this performs. So I'm gonna tap it on and press it under my eyes. It's definitely a thin formula. It feels like it doesn't feel like thick. It feels like very thin and somewhat blendable. I think this actually has a pretty quick dry down time, so I'm gonna work pretty quickly to blend this out. Okay, I have to say, I mean, it blends out pretty easily. You have to definitely work quick because it is a 24-hour wear. You could tell like it has a quicker dry down time. That's what makes it longer wearing, like formula-wise. So yeah, you want to work quickly because like I'm already having a hard time blending out this little corner right here. And yeah, all right, let me just work quickly so I can actually get this to look nice. All right, very, very full coverage, very flawless. Like I feel very flawless and confident under my eyes. I have to say, I really like this. I think the only thing that's tricky about it is it does dry down really quick. So just keep that in mind if you're using this. You don't really have a lot of time to like blend it out and take your time. You have to like work like quickly to blend it out. But if you do that, I think the coverage is really nice. Okay, so my final thoughts on this concealer. I think it's really pretty. I feel very confident under my eyes. I think it looks really beautiful, really, really flawless. It actually has somewhat of a nice like airbrush quality to it, like an airbrush type finish. Amazing coverage. My only thing I would just want to point out is if you have dry skin, I think you could still use it. However, be careful and make sure you prep your skin properly because I do feel like this would cling to any dryness or dry patches under your eye if you have them. If you have oily skin and you want to use it like in general, like in like the T-zone, it's going to be an amazing formula. I'm really impressed with this formula. I really like this a lot. The only thing, you know, to be concerned about too is the dry down time. Make sure you blend it out really quickly because it does dry down very quickly. Would I go back out and repurchase this? I think I would. I don't see myself running out of it anytime soon, but I do think this is a nice formula. I definitely recommend this one from CoverGirl. I think it's a nice full coverage concealer. And once again, that's the CoverGirl Outlast Extreme Wear Concealer. Not bad. Next up, we have one from Revlon. It's the Revlon ColorStay Full Coverage Concealer. This is about $7.50, depending on where you purchase it. I'm very excited to try this. I think that like the ColorStay franchise is, people have always spoke really highly about the Revlon ColorStay like franchise. And I've heard like really good things about the powder. In fact, I've used the powder years ago, like the pressed powder. Anyway, the Revlon ColorStay franchise is known to be really good and well reviewed. So I'm really excited for this. I have high hopes. I picked up the shade 030 Light Medium. So let's test it out. Cute little doe foot. Let's pop it right on. This has a drugstore fragrance to it. You know, like that fragrancy, like non-fragrance, but smells like something drugstore type scent. It's not quite the wet paint, but it's similar. Okay. I'm going to blend this out with an N14 and just tap it in. What did this say this coverage was? Full coverage concealer. Well, that's it. Okay, so full coverage. All right, that's all it says. Full coverage concealer. This color actually looks perfect under my eyes. So blends very easy. Wow. But dries down within seconds. In fact, I need to use the longer fiber of this brush to just buff this into or buff out my fine lines. I mean, that dried down so quick. It has like a little bit of a tackiness to it still. So it's still in the process of drying down. The coverage is really nice. I really like this. There's been so many good drugstore concealers. I'm shocked at how much I'm liking so many of these formulas. This one looks really nice. I mean, that's really pretty. Blend it out easy. The only thing I think is that's a concern is that it dries down really, really quick. So just like that other one, the Outlast one, it dries down very quick. But this is supposed to be a long wear formula. So again, like that just kind of comes with the territory of having a long wear formula. They do dry down. They're meant to dry down and they're meant to stay put. So you have to kind of take like the good with the bad. So just make sure that you're blending it out really quickly. And if you do, you can get a nice flawless finish like this. I feel like my under eyes look really smooth. They look really flawless. It's not patchy. It's not accentuating anything. It's not clinging to any areas of my under eye in an unflattering way. It looks really nice. It looks like a high-end concealer. This is a really nice formula. I highly recommend this. I have to say, I don't feel like this would be not good for any type of skin type. I feel like this is good for all skin types, you know, oily, normal, combo. Wherever you're going to put this, I feel like this is going to be a nice formula. Under the eyes specifically where I put it, I think that as long as you prep your under eyes the right way, like I always mention, it starts with your skin prep and then the rest should be smooth sailing, but skin prep is so important. So make sure you're mindful of how you're prepping your skin under your eyes before you put on a long wear formula like this. If you properly hydrate and moisturize, then most of these formulas are going to work for you, if that makes sense. So I think anybody could wear this under their eyes. I think this is a really nice formula. Would I go back out and repurchase this? I definitely would. I'm going to be wearing this for sure in videos to come. You'll definitely see me wearing this. Do I recommend this? I definitely recommend this one from REVLON. I think this is a standout. This is a really nice formula. So once again, very impressed. And this is the REVLON COLORSTAY Full Coverage Concealer. This looks beautiful. Okay, next up is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. This is $7.58 where I picked it up at Walmart. I'm really excited for this one. Again, talk about like a franchise that has been like raved about for so many years. I feel like so many people love anything from like the Fit Me category of Maybelline, like the powders especially are talked about a lot. So I'm really excited to try this one. I have high hopes. It is a natural looking coverage. It's supposed to even out skin tone. Of course, that's what concealers do. It has chamomile extract in it. I picked up the shade 15 Light. It's a light medium. And then what else do I have to say about this? Okay, on the back it just says, complete yet natural looking coverage of flaws and imperfections, matches and evens out skin tone, breathable feel, oil-free, non-comedogenic, dermatologist tested, yada yada. Okay, let's try it out. I'm really excited for this. High hopes. I just love a good concealer. I like the tube. Very sleek. Doesn't take up a lot of room. Let's mix this a little bit just in case. Okay, so doe foot applicator. We're gonna go in. This doesn't feel like a light color, but you know, this feels like more like a medium to me, but it's all good. Okay, so I'm gonna blend this out, my N16, and tap it in. Oh, I feel like that's oxidizing. Like, meaning it's getting darker as it's hitting my skin. That's a bummer. Doesn't smell like anything. Hold on, let me really make sure it doesn't smell like anything. Yeah, it doesn't smell like anything. Okay. Is this supposed to be like long wearing? Doesn't say. Okay. All right, at first it seemed like it was oxidizing quite a bit, but now that I've blended it out, you know, it might have oxidized a touch, but it's not what I was thinking it was gonna do. Feels very nice on my skin. Feels very lightweight. Does not feel heavy. This has been extremely easy to blend out. I mean, I'm already done. Coverage is nice. I don't feel like it's a full coverage. I feel like it's a really nice, solid medium coverage. And you could probably layer it and build it up, I would imagine. I'm not going to do that just because let's just see what it looks like on its own. It's not emphasizing any fine lines under my eyes. In fact, I feel like it looks nice and smooth. Has a really pretty finish to it. The dry down is more of a satin finish. It's not matte at all, which is nice under your eyes, especially for certain people. Like if you have dry under eyes, it's going to feel more comfortable and more lightweight under your eyes. It definitely has a very lightweight feel, which I like a lot. But I like the fact that it feels lightweight, but it's still giving me a nice medium coverage. Like that's like a nice, to me, that's a nice combo for a concealer. I think this is really pretty. Again, easy to work with. I think this would be good for any and all under eyes. I can't imagine anyone not being able to use this formula. It's pretty. For a medium coverage, I'd say this is a really good medium coverage, and that's fine. So if you're looking for a full coverage, I would probably skip this one, to be honest, unless you want to build it up, but just avoid that and just get a full coverage like the e.l.f. Camo, and you'll be good to go. If you want more of a lightweight feel and a medium coverage, I think this is a solid pick. Really good. I really like this a lot. For a medium coverage, it has a lightweight feeling to it. I think this is definitely worth checking out. I would definitely recommend this if you're looking for that type of concealer. Would I go back out and repurchase it? I don't see why not. If I need it, I would definitely consider this one again if I run out. I doubt I'm going to run out once again because I have so many concealers, but this is really pretty. I really like this. That is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. Next up is $8.57, where I bought it. It's the ALMAY Skin Perfecting Comfort Concealer. This is a stick, but I have more high hopes for this stick formula than I did the previous ones we've tried. I'm just going to pull this off so I can actually open it. Okay, so looks like a lipstick. Oh, that's a nice little twist up. Let me just warm this up on my hand a bit. Okay, oh, this is actually really creamy. All right, let's try this out. And by the way, I picked up the shade 160 medium. So I'm going to twist this up a little bit more. Swipe. Almost has like a waxy feeling to it. Okay, it's decent. Okay, let's do a different method now. Let's do this whole swipe. And I want more coverage, so I'm just going to go back over this area. And then we're going to blend it out with my N16 and just get it in there and really blend away. Okay, yeah, it's just patchy. A lot of these cream or like stick drugstore concealers, they just end up being, first of all, the formula is just inconsistent. They feel very like just waxy and kind of chalky. I know those are two totally different things, but it depends on which one you're using. This one feels more waxy. The other ones I felt a little more chalky and just dry. But they're just not an impressive formula. And like I said, there's just so many great drugstore concealers on the market. Like this one looks okay. It definitely looks okay, but I've had to like really finesse it. I feel like I'm just gonna get more of this too. And you know, I just don't feel like this is a good formula for under the eyes. It's just kind of stripy. It's kind of patchy. Yeah. There's no smoothness to it. You know, when you get a concealer under your eyes, or when you're using a concealer under your eyes, I should say, you want it to do a lot for you. You know, you don't want just like the bare bones. Like I want a concealer that's going to not only cover up dark circles or hide imperfections, but I also want it to smooth my skin, especially under your eyes. We have a lot of expression under the eyes. You know, we talk, we smile, we do all these things. And if you're not choosing a formula that has like a smoothing quality to it or like a more of an airbrush kind of quality to it, then what's the point, right? That's how I feel about this. It's fine. It's not doing anything magical under your eyes. And there's so many other fantastic drugstore formulas. I would absolutely skip this one. It's not super pricey. It's under $9, but it's still not worth the money. So don't waste your money. I don't recommend this one. I'm sorry to say. And I would not go back out and repurchase this one from ALMAY. But once again, it is the ALMAY Skin Perfecting Comfort Concealer. It does feel okay under my eyes. I just want to throw that out there really quick, but I still don't recommend it. For $8.68, you can get the COVERGIRL True Blend Undercover Concealer. I have to say, I love this packaging. This packaging like feels very high end to me. I have high hopes for this concealer. I cannot wait to try it. I picked up the shade Perfect Beige is the shade that I picked up. And yeah, I'm really excited for this one. Doesn't really smell like much. It has like a faint wet paint scent to it. Nice big doe foot applicator, which I personally love. So let's try it out. That is nice and emollient. Wow, love that. So does this claim to be a full coverage? Okay. I don't know what the claims are. This just comes like this and there's not much like marketing claims on it, which is totally fine. So we'll find out together if it's a full coverage or not. I'm going to blend this out with an N14 brush with BK Beauty and I'm going to tap it in first. The feeling of this is very nice. Like feels like a high-end concealer. Yeah. Very nice feeling. Very nice coverage. A little bit goes a long way. Okay, so this is definitely a full coverage. Less is more. We just learned that together. It's definitely giving a lot of coverage. Very, very easy to blend. I can already see It is giving me a really nice smooth finish to my under eyes and just my whole cheek area right here where I've applied it. It is drying down, which tells me it's going to be more of a long wearing formula, which I like. Wow, this is nice. This is a really nice concealer. I don't think I have one complaint about this concealer. It has absolutely smoothed over. I have like pores right here on the inner part of my cheek. It's definitely smoothed that area. My fine lines under my eyes look nice and smooth. They're not emphasized. It's not sitting in my fine lines in an unflattering way. This is a really beautiful full coverage concealer. I am so going to be using this on a daily basis. I cannot wait. I'm really excited. The color works great too. It's going to look even better once I have like my actual foundation on and I'm putting this on top. Because right now it looks like it's a little too dark for my cheeks, which are very, very pale, like I said, in comparison to my body. Yeah, that aside, this is a standout. This might be like one of my top ones I think I've tried. This is fantastic. I think this is great for anyone if you want a full coverage, or even if you want just like a little bit of coverage, like just dot on a tiny little bit, and a little bit's gonna go a long way. I think anybody can use this formula. I think it's just a really perfect concealer formula for full coverage. But again, any full coverage concealer, you just use less of it, and anybody can use it. So if you're looking for a light to medium, you just need that just means you need a tiny dot of a full coverage concealer. So don't let that scare you, you know what I mean? I think that's a really good thing to point out. So if you don't want a full coverage, don't worry. Even if it's a full coverage, you can just use a tiny little bit and it'll go a long way and it will last you so, so long. I highly recommend this. I would definitely go back out and repurchase it. I am very impressed. So once again, this is the CoverGirl True Blend Undercover Concealer. Wow. Next up, we have one that I'm also excited for. This one's $8.88. That's what I paid for it. It is the L'Oreal Age Perfect Radiant Concealer. I am a big, big fan of the L'Oreal Age Perfect foundation, like the serum foundation. It's one of my favorite drugstore formulas on the market. I think it's absolutely fantastic. So I'm very excited. I have very high hopes for this one because it's part of the same category as that one foundation that I love. So let's try it out. I picked up the shade. Okay, so I picked up the shade 215 Natural Beige, and I'm really, really excited. So let's try it out together. Doe foot applicator, fantastic. Zero fragrance on this one, just something to point out. Let's blend this out with my N14. I'm gonna tap it in. The feeling of it on my skin is very similar and reminiscent of the Age Perfect foundation that I love. So it's earning points already. Feels very, very hydrating and just very nice and comfortable under my eyes. And also there's something about, you know, going from like a full coverage, more matte finish concealer to then a more glowy, radiant, and hydrating formula that's just gonna inevitably feel amazing. So it feels amazing on my skin. But I think this is really pretty. Coverage is actually, for being more of a radiant finish, the coverage is actually fantastic. I was expecting it to be more sheer because of the fact that it's like a radiant finish. Radiant finishes just tend to be more skin-like, more natural, a little bit more on the sheer side, just based on the formula. But this gives great coverage. I'd say it's a medium to full, like it's almost a full. It's like right there. It's like just like right behind being a full. Blends out within seconds. Looks so radiant, but in a really flattering way. So sometimes having too much radiance under your eyes, believe it or not, can actually emphasize fine lines and any kind of texture you have under your eyes. This is not the case with this concealer. I feel like it's looking still very smooth, very flawless, but it's leaving me with this really, I hope you can tell on camera, it's leaving me with a really beautiful and just like soft skin-like finish. Wow. You would think that I'm being paid by the drugstores to promote these concealers because there's so many that I like. I'm really impressed. All right, this is a showstopper. I think this is fantastic. I think this is really fantastic. This is like gonna be probably, I don't see any other one beating it as far as like a more hydrating, like moisturizing feeling goes for a concealer. I think this is just fantastic. Highly recommend this one, even if you have oily skin like me. So regardless, I think that if you have dry skin, you're gonna absolutely love this concealer under your eyes, or for like, you know, spot concealing too. This is beautiful. Highly recommend it. I really like this. You're definitely gonna see me using this one as well, and I'll probably use it with my Age Perfect L'Oreal foundation as well. Beautiful finish. I'm super wowed by this. Highly recommend it. I would definitely go back out and repurchase this. So once again, this is the Age Perfect Radiant Concealer from L'Oreal. That is so beautiful and feels so nice. Next up, we have one for $9.30. It's the L'Oreal True Match. It's a super blendable corrector. I don't know why it's called corrector. Well, it's a concealer, basically. I picked up the shade Natural Fair Light. It's N123. I don't know, that's the color system. Yeah, Fair Light N123. Let's try it out. Very small container. What are the ounces on this? I feel like it's like a really small amount. I'll look into that later. Okay, so this has more of a brush applicator, like a little wand. So we're gonna brush this on. I don't prefer the little wands personally, like the little, I like a more of a sponge, just personal preference. But so far this feels very nice going on. Doesn't feel heavy in any way. I'm gonna take my N14 and just start to blend this out. Color is actually perfect. Very liquidy, okay, but very easy to blend. All right, this is nice. It's very glowy. Super blendable concealer. It is definitely super blendable. I will give them that. Formula-wise, the formula is nice. It's a teeny bit patchy, but I'm kind of just being picky. If I had to be picky, I should say, it's a little bit patchy. It's okay. It's not terrible. It's not really impressive. And there's been so many impressive drugstore concealers. So just, I think it's worth pointing that out. It's nice. It's doing the trick. It's doing the job. It's getting it done. It's not emphasizing any texture. It looks nice and smooth. Well, actually it looks normal under my eyes. It doesn't, I wouldn't say it looks smooth. Let me not go there. I don't think it looks smooth. It looks fine. It's not emphasizing my fine lines right here. The coverage is okay. It's like a nice medium coverage. I wish I had more coverage right here. I mean, I could definitely go back in and layer it, but just like, I mean, I applied a decent amount too. Like you saw, I applied a good amount and I feel like it should have given me more coverage than it's giving me. What else? It's fine. It's just not, it's not like a showstopper, and it's compared to the other ones, I think it's not I don't think it's really worth checking out, but there's nothing wrong with it. Like there's nothing horrible about the formula. It looks really pretty. It feels very nice. I will point that out. I think the feeling of it is probably its best quality, is it feels really nice. It feels lightweight and it was very easy to blend. Coverage is, it's okay. Would I recommend it? I wouldn't not recommend it. I would just recommend others in its place that are more standouts to me. Once again, this is the L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Concealer. Okay, next up, this one is just under $10. It is, I paid $9.94. Very random, but it is the Neutrogena Radiant Cream Concealer. Healthy skin, has peptides and antioxidants. I like the peptide thing. That's cute. That's great. I'm all about peptides. I picked up the shade Brulee, and this is a light medium. It's a light medium. It's in the light medium shade category, is what I should say. I picked up this shade because it reminded me so much of Honey, the Radiant Creamy Concealer shade from NARS. I feel like this is trying to be a dupe or the same type of formula as the NARS Radiant Creamy, hence the name Radiant Cream Concealer. So let's try it out. I actually have high hopes for this. Doe foot applicator, love it. Let's swipe it on and let's see what we got. Feels nice. Peptides and antioxidants. Okay, that's cool. We're gonna blend it out with my N14 and just tap it in. Does this smell like anything? Hold on. It has that Neutrogena paint smell to it, but it's very faint. It's not bad. Okay. All right, this blends really easy. It definitely, you can see it. I'm sure you can see it on camera. It has like a nice visible radiance to it, which is really pretty. Well, this is really nice. I'm gonna have so many new concealers that I like after this video. I'm really excited. Okay, very easy to use. Extremely, extremely easy to use. It's like a nice solid medium, which I like. Feels really nice on my skin. Feels really comfortable. Feels very moisturizing. I really like the feeling. The coverage is nice. The finish is definitely radiant. I'd say if you don't want it to be this radiant, you'd want to add like a touch of powder on top just to set it into place and to kind of lock it in. I imagine this formula, if it was left to its own devices and like left on its own, it would probably end up creasing in any areas where you are prone to creasing because it is a radiant, more moisturizing finish. The dry down is not going to be there. So it's not really going to dry down and self-set like a lot of the other formulas have. So just something to keep in mind, just something to point out. I think this would be an excellent concealer to test out or to try out if you have normal to dry under eyes or really dry under eyes. I think this would be a really great formula because it's going to give you like that soft, like healthy radiance under your eyes and help to camouflage any dryness. So it's not clean any, texture in my under eyes. It's not emphasizing my fine lines. It definitely creased a teeny bit, but that's honestly going to happen if you're not setting your under eye concealer. That's inevitable. So it's not the concealer's fault necessarily. The shade actually is really nice and really perfect. You're going to see me using this one for sure on my channel and in other videos, probably like on Instagram and TikTok, because this feels really nice. I think this is a really nice formula. I do recommend this one from Neutrogena. Would I go back out and repurchase it? I definitely would. I think this is really, really nice. Is it a dupe for like the NARS Radiant Creamy? No, but it's very nice and it is similar in many, many ways. So once again, that is the Neutrogena Radiant Cream Concealer. This is really, really pretty. Next up is one that's just under $10. I spent $9.98 on it, so let's just call it 10 bucks. It's from Revolution Beauty. It's the Eye Bright Illuminating Under Eye Concealer. I picked up the shade Light, and it has vitamin C in it. So I've actually used this before in the past. Oh, it says shake. Hold on. Shake well. Let's shake it well. I like that they've actually put that though. That's good to know. Let's shake it. So what I was saying is I've actually used this formula in the past. And I don't really remember my thoughts too much, so it's going to be a surprise. It's also going to be tomorrow by the time I push this all up. Come on. Okay, it's just oil coming off the top. I mean, not oil, but something that feels like very greasy. Wait, come on. Can we, what? Okay, hold on. I mean, is there going to be anything left in this thing after I, okay, it's finally coming. Oof, it's like, I shook it for a long time. Okay, here it is. All right, let's try this out. Oh. Well, okay, okay. What? What happened? I shook it. I shook it for a long time and it's just all separated. What? You know, I don't remember this happening. Do I even want to waste my sponge? I don't want to waste a clean brush on this. We're just gonna, this is not working out and I'm not gonna force it too much. Okay. This is a disaster. What? You know, I shook it a lot. Okay, that's better. No. Man, I am being so rough under my eyes. For anyone that wants to call me out for it, please don't. Please just spare me this video. I'm doing it for the sake of this video and testing these out. Okay, it's like just a step up from horrible. That's bad. It's just bad. Like, that's terrible. I shook it. I twisted it up. What else can I do to make this better? You know? I mean, it feels nice under my eyes because it feels like a serum. That's like one thing I'll point out. It definitely feels like a nice moisturizing serum. It's just a mess overall. Like, it's just really messy overall. And there's so many better eye brighteners and eye concealers that are glowy that I just used and tried out that would be a better buy than this. I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't recommend this one from Revolution Beauty. I'm sorry. If you like it and you got it to work for you, please leave me a comment and let me know what your trick was, because I feel like this is a really frustrating formula. That's just very disappointing. So would I go back out and repurchase this? No, definitely not. And I don't recommend this one. There's so many better ones that are illuminating and hydrating on the market. Don't waste your money. So that again is the Revolution Eye Bright Illuminating Under Eye Concealer. Next up, for $10, you can get one of my all-time favorite drugstore concealers. I've used this for the last, at least, I don't know, since I was in my early 20s, I was using this. Maybe, yeah, since I was in my really early 20s, I was using this and I loved it back then. And I've since bought it a couple times in like my, what I want to say is like my adult life. And I still really love it. It's just a solid, amazing concealer. Without further ado, this is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser. It's a concealer. It's fantastic. It's a 12-hour wear. It is moisturizing, multi-use concealer, corrector. Okay, medium full coverage. I can attest to that. I picked up the shade 115. Yeah, I mean, this is just a fan favorite. If you know, you know. Like, if you've used this in the past and you love it like I do, please leave me a comment and tell me why. I love this formula so much. Okay, so take off the cap. This thing is very secure. Okay, that's off. Take off the little cap. Now you can definitely rip off the little sponge and just, you know, put it on top of your hand, do all that. I actually really enjoy the sponge on this. I know it's not the most sanitary thing, but I don't care. I'm just using it myself and my under eyes are clean and I love this sponge. I absolutely love this applicator because I'm gonna twist it up. Hopefully we have an easier time getting product to come to the top than we did with that Revolution Beauty. Now it is new, so we gotta give it a little break. Gotta give it a little time. Okay, it's coming up, coming up. These are just so fantastic. We'll get there. And once it has broken through the sponge applicator, it's all good. The rest is like smooth sailing. Okay, I'm gonna get a little bit more You can see it popping through. Let me show you why I love this concealer. First of all, you can do a couple things, okay? So I used to like kind of tap it on, like stamp it on like that. You can also swipe, whatever you prefer. It's easy either way. I'm gonna take my N16 and blend it out. I'm gonna tap it in. You know, the formula feels really nice under your eyes. It feels very lightweight, even though it's a full, like a medium to full coverage. It feels extremely lightweight. I love the finish of this concealer. I just think it is top notch. I think it's one of the best drugstore concealers that money can buy you. It's like $10 well spent. They have a really fantastic shade range too, which is something to talk about because a lot of drugstore brands have horrible shade ranges. But look at how beautiful that is. This is definitely more of a brightening shade that I picked out, which I'm fine with. It's all good. It works. But look how pretty that is. It's so easy to blend. The finish is beautiful. It is, I can attest to it being a very long wearing formula. It's very, very long wearing. In fact, this formula works really well as an eye base on top of your eyelids. Just saying, if you have it, try it there. You'll thank me later. It's really, really nice. I'm gonna use the tip of my brush to blend out right where I have fine lines. But look at that. How quick and easy that is. Coverage is beautiful. The finish is stunning. This will work for any skin type, any skin age, any under eye age. It doesn't matter. This is a fantastic formula that I have always recommended and I will still continue to recommend. Will I go back out and repurchase this one? Absolutely. I highly recommend you go out and repurchase or purchase this one for the first time. You will not be disappointed. So once again, sorry, spoiler alert, I love this one. It's the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser Concealer. It is so beautiful. Next up, for just over $10, this was like $10.12. It's the Revlon COLORSTAY Skin Awaken Caffeine Plus Vitamin C. It's a 24-hour 5-in-1 concealer. I have the shade 030 Light Medium. This also has a little sponge applicator. So what you do, instead of like twisting it, you just push it up. So nice and easy. Okay, that's coming to the surface really quickly. That's great. Quick. Let's try this out. I'm really excited for this one. I've actually heard nice things about this formula too. Has a little bit of a wet paint scent to it. Nothing horrible. I'm imagining this is going to dry down pretty quick because it's supposed to be a 24-hour wear. So I'm going to work quickly with this. I'm going to grab my N14 and just go straight in to blend it out. Okay, the shade's working really well. So that's a nice little bonus for me. Blends out very easy. Yeah, it's blending out very, very easy. Coverage is very nice. I'm going to add a teeny bit more, just a little bit. Yeah, this is a really nice formula. Feels very lightweight too. It doesn't feel like it's going to be a 24-hour wear, all that kind of stuff. Skin Awaken. I feel like it has like a nice, I don't know, like energizing feel to it. Maybe it's just a placebo effect because I know it's, because that's the marketing of it. Either way, I can tell you that it feels really nice under my eyes. It doesn't feel heavy, doesn't feel, too dry or anything like that. It actually feels very, very hydrating and like satiny. And wow, okay, the coverage is really nice. I'm going to be wearing this for sure. You're definitely going to see me wearing this quite often. I don't have anything bad to say about this, to be honest. I think this is a really good formula. I feel like it is going to be more self-setting because it's a 24-hour claim and those tend to be more self-setting and they have more of a dry down. Like they're going to actually dry down and self-set on their own. So with that said, if you work long hours, if you are someone who doesn't want to put a lot of powder under their eyes in order to like set their concealer and lock into place so it does last all day, I think this is a really good option to check out. Price point is just totally fine. It's easy to work with. I like the sponge. I like the kind of squeeze it out. That's to me really quick and convenient, I think this is a great concealer. Really nice. I'm very, very impressed with this. It's not emphasizing any fine lines. It did crease a teeny bit, but that's just, it could be user error for just putting a little bit too much product where I have like a lot of fine lines, which is like right here. Coverage is great. I think this is great. I think this is a good one for anybody. I really do, especially if you're looking for something that's long wearing and has a really great amount of coverage, but also feels not heavy and not overly like, dry under your eyes. This has the opposite. This feels really nice and just kind of soothing under the eyes, to be quite honest. That's a really nice one. I recommend this. Would I go back out and repurchase this? I definitely would. In fact, it's going to be something you're going to see me use on my channel more often, I'm sure. So I say this is worth checking out, especially for the price. I think this is a great one. Once again, it's the Revlon COLORSTAY Skin Awaken 24-hour 5-in-1 concealer. That is really nice. Okay, next up we have one from MILANI. It's just over $10. It is the MILANI Conceal and Perfect Longwear Concealer. I have been wanting to try the MILANI concealer for a long time, so I'm very, very excited that that day has finally come and I purchased it for this video. I have the shade 125 Light Natural, and let's try it out. I love MILANI. I love a lot of MILANI products, so I have high hopes because I'm a big fan of the brand. So I think they have some really amazing formulas for a drugstore brand. They're like top notch. Doe foot applicator. Let's test it out. Ooh, feels nice and creamy. Has like a slight sense to it, but not in a bad way. I'm gonna blend it out with my N14 and just tap it in. What does this claim to have? Is this a full coverage? Long wear. So it doesn't quite say what the amount of coverage is, but I can tell you right now, this is a full, wow, full coverage. This is very reminiscent of Tarte Shape Tape, but overall this feels very nice. I mean, I know I just put it on, but it's blending out really easy. The coverage is absolutely fantastic, but not in a heavy way. Like there's coverage, but it still looks like if you saw me in person right now, like I know you're seeing me on camera, but if you saw me like face to face, like I'm looking at myself in the mirror, the coverage is really soft. Like it doesn't look like a heavy full coverage. It looks very smooth, very airbrushed. I'd say this looks, gosh, this is like right up there with the e.l.f. in terms of like a flawless finish for full coverage. This is like right there. I mean, wow. That, I don't know, this might be my favorite. Is it too soon to say that? I have no complaints about this. I think this is a fantastic drugstore concealer. No complaints. It's not emphasizing any fine lines. I mean, it's sitting on my fine lines, but you know, makeup is not magic, so I still see my fine lines, and that's just the reality. It's a 3D effect, but it did completely cover up my dark circles in a nice natural way. It has smooth, like any texture on my cheek. My skin just overall looks really smooth and flawless. Easy to work with, like I said. You could probably get away with using half the amount that I did and get still a great full coverage look to your skin. So I think this gives like the best of both worlds. I think this is good for anybody. Anybody looking for a great liquid concealer, like a full coverage concealer. And again, don't let the full coverage part scare you. If you want just like a light, more medium coverage, just use a lot less than I use and you'll be totally fine. And just properly prep your under eyes if you have dry under eyes. That way you have a nice natural finish under your eyes and it doesn't cling to any dryness. But even if, like I had zero prep under my eyes and it's not clinging to any dryness in my eyes, it's not like emphasizing any texture, it just looks beautiful. Wow. And it dried down and it's self-set. So it's kind of like, what more could you need, right? This is top notch. I would definitely go back out and repurchase this. I highly recommend this one from MILANI Cosmetics. So once again, it's the MILANI Conceal and Perfect. That is gorgeous. For just under $12, this was $11.84. It's from Physicians Formula. It is the Concealer Twins Cream Concealer. So there is a yellow shade and an overall like skin tone shade, right? So there's the yellow shade to help to brighten your under eyes, and then there's the actual concealer shade on the bottom. So it's a dual formula. It color corrects, covers yellow and minor imperfections. Oh, sorry, hold on. So the yellow color corrects under eye circles, okay, and the light covers yellow and minor imperfections. What they're trying to say in a more confusing way is the yellow goes first to color correct, even though I don't like yellow under the eye to color correct at all. We won't get into that. So this is only going to help to brighten. It's not going to color correct because yellow doesn't actually color correct dark pigmentation under the eye. Depending on what your skin tone is, you're going to want to use something that's more on the peach, orange, or red side to color correct. So what this yellow is going to do is just to overall brighten. So that's fine. It's going to brighten. And then you put the concealer on top. What else does it say on the back? It's gentle, creamy formula, is transfer resistant, water resistant, and glides on to a smooth velvet finish. Great. All right, let's just go for it. Let's dive in. So let's actually use this the way they want us to. Let's use the yellow first. Color correct. Tap it in with my N16. Let's see how this goes on. It's very sheer. I'm going to tap it in to get more coverage. Okay, so that yellow, you can see it visibly brighten my under eyes. Absolutely. Now we're going to switch to the concealer shade. We're going to layer it on top and see what kind of effect we can get. So far, the feeling of it is nice. It doesn't feel heavy. It feels very lightweight. It feels more like, I'd say it feels a little bit more on like the hydrating side, which is nice. All right, this isn't bad. I don't think that you need necessarily. I mean, it depends on what you're looking for, but I don't really think that it's necessary to have a yellow and then the concealer shade on the bottom. I mean, it's nice, but you can get the same effect. And if you just get the right concealer shade, that's going to help to overall brighten your under eyes as well as, you know, cancel out and cover up, then you don't need to go in with 2 different products if you just get like that perfect shade. But sometimes that's hard to find. So, you know, if you're having a hard time and you want to do 2 products, then it's not a bad idea. Okay, it actually has like a nice finish to it. I do like the brightening effect that I got with that yellow. It's pretty. This is nice. This is overall nice. It's not emphasizing any texture. It doesn't feel dry. It feels actually very skin-like, to be honest. It doesn't feel like anything under my eyes, to be quite honest, which is a good thing. That's can be a really nice thing. I think this would be good for anyone who is looking for a more thin, lightweight formula that still offers good coverage, that's not emphasizing. It's a very nice, simple formula. That's all I can really say. There's not much else to say about it. It's simple, it's straightforward. It's a little more work because you're doing 2 different products, but so is color correcting in general. You're using 2 different products. So if you're used to something like that, then you're not going to mind that extra step with the under eye, the yellow brightener. I think it's nice. Would I go back out and repurchase it? I wouldn't, because I'm not blown away and there's so many more that are just way more impressive than this one, but it's a nice formula. Do I recommend it? Not necessarily for those same exact reasons, but it is overall very nice. So once again, this is the Physicians Formula Concealer Twins. Next up is just under $12. I've used this one in the past. I really like it. Spoiler alert, it's the NYX Bear With Me Concealer Serum. This has a pump to it, which I also really like. Kind of reminds me of the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer back in the day. It had like a pump and a little glass bottle. So this is more of a moisturizing, more of a hydrating formula. So if you have more dry under eyes, this is going to be a really nice one to check out. The coverage, from what I remember, because it's been a minute since I've actually used it, but the coverage is nice. But let's try it out again. I'm going to pump it out on the top of my hand. I'm going to start with that. And the shade that I picked up is beige, just simple beige. Just beige. Okay. So with that product, I'm going to take my N14, dip into it, just tap it on. Color is nice. This instantly feels very moisturizing, very hydrating, very soothing under my eyes. The coverage is about a medium, but you can definitely build this one up. So I'm just tapping it on. A little too high there. Has a very radiant finish to it. In fact, I might have used a little too much product, to be quite honest, but it definitely is a great like hydrating formula. So if you want that hydration under your eyes and you want more of a glow under your eyes and like a hydrating feel, this is a great one to check out. You don't need as much as I pumped out. I'm wasting all that product and I feel bad about it. This will last you a really long time because a little bit does go a long way. You can layer it if you want more coverage, but it is a nice solid medium. Like it's a full-on medium. It's not less than a medium and it's not any more than a medium. It's like a perfect medium. Easy to blend, like I mentioned, like extremely easy to blend. Feels fantastic under my eyes. I'd say that if you don't want to have that more hydrating, like glowy look under your eyes and you want a concealer that's like very long wearing, you should skip this one. If you want something that feels more like hydrating and looks more like luminous and just moisturizing under the eye, then definitely try this one. Definitely check it out. And if you have dry under eyes, you're gonna love this formula. If you have mature under eyes, I think you would also love this formula for sure. I think this is a really great one. I don't think it's for everyone, but I think it's a great one for, like I said, the reasons I just listed. If you have dry under eyes, mature, it's amazing. But I would stay away from it if you need it to be budge proof and extremely long wearing for a really long day, then I would say skip this one. Okay, I hope that helped you. I think this is still a great formula that I recommend checking out if you're looking for that type of finish. Would I go back out and repurchase this? I definitely would. I don't think it's for everyone, but I think it's a really great formula. So once again, it's the NYX Bear With Me Concealer Serum. Okay, for under $13, this was $12.98. It's the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Wear Full Coverage Concealer. Now, I have really high hopes for this because this formula, this franchise from L'Oreal is one of my favorites for a drugstore full coverage, flawless foundation. I've never tried the concealer, so I'm really excited to try this one out today. I just have really high hopes. I really high hopes. So let's try it out together. I picked up the shade 370 Biscuit. Let's hope this is a good one. The shade selection was very limited because everything was sold out. So I took what I could get. So it might be totally bad. Anyway, let's go for it. This is a big doe foot applicator, which I love. I can tell this is going to be too, oh, maybe not. It's not horrible. I thought it was going to be way worse. The shade that I picked out. So it's a full coverage. I probably applied way too much, to be quite honest. But we're going to find out together. I'm going to blend this out with my N16. Okay, lots of coverage, which is to be expected. In fact, I'm just gonna wipe off a little bit because that was just, I got a little too excited. I don't need that much coverage. Blending out really easy. Blending out very flawless too. Wow. Incredible coverage. Very, very impressive coverage. Again, blends very quick and very easy. You do have some time to blend out, which I really appreciate. I can tell the formula is starting to dry down, but that's good. That means it's going to be long wearing. It has a really smooth finish to it. Wow. That whole area of my skin looks really smooth. I don't feel like it's emphasizing the fine lines under my eyes. And I also don't think you're going to have to use a lot of powder to set this, so that's definitely a big bonus point in my opinion. So if you are someone who doesn't want to wear a lot of powder under their eyes in order to lock their concealer into place so it lasts all day and doesn't crease, this would be a good one to check out. Anyone that wants a full coverage, long wearing concealer, definitely check this one out. I'm so happy this did not disappoint. You're definitely going to see me wearing this one for sure. This is beautiful. I have no complaints. This is a solid concealer. I think I recommend this for anyone who's looking for a long wearing, full coverage concealer. This is going to be a great one to check out. Would I go back out and repurchase this one? Absolutely. I'll probably try to go find a slightly better shade for myself, but this is a great one. 5 stars, like all around, love it. So once again, this is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour full wear concealer. Okay, for just over $13, I paid $13.28 for this one. It's the Neutrogena Hydrating Concealer Hydro Boost. So this has, I'll show you again in a minute, but this has like a hydrating core to it. Like the inside is like a hydrating, I'm assuming it's kind of like a serum that's built inside. So it works to refresh dry, thirsty skin with a hydrating core, smooth and buildable coverage. It has hyaluronic acid in it, which is very nice. And what else does it say? Unique hydrating core designed to instantly quench skin with purified hyaluronic acid. But you know what works even better just to cleanse your skin? Just putting straight hyaluronic acid under your eyes. It works amazing. Then you don't have to worry about buying something that's kind of gimmicky that has it in the core. We're going to give it a good chance though, okay? We're not going to disregard it yet. Flawlessly mask imperfections without cakey finish. Blends effortlessly to hide dark circles for a fresh all-day look. Non-greasy, lightweight. Let's open it. These things so unbelievably hard to open. Check out this core. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to do a test round. Ooh. Oh wow. This might be the first ever stick or like lipstick looking concealer that I might like. That one on really nice and smooth. Wow. Okay, let's go for it. It's very creamy, so that's nice. Okay. Oh. All right, let me stop going for it and blend it out now. Okay. Tap it in to keep coverage where I want it, right? So tapping it. All right, it's not really staying put though. Sadly. Feels very nice. I will say it feels very nice. Feels very hydrating. I can imagine this would be a very creasy concealer though if you don't set it. All right, it's yeah, the formula's patchy though, unfortunately. Oh darn it. I thought I was gonna have to admit that I was wrong, but maybe I'm not. I don't know. It's not easy to blend. It like blends patchy. Let's try sweeping it. Yeah, no, this blends patchy. And the reason for that is because, you know, you have two conflicting things running through each other. And it goes back to, don't rely on your makeup to fix any problems. So if you have really dry under eyes, don't rely on your concealer. Like, yes, you want to be mindful of like the formulas that you're choosing for your skin type, always, of course, but don't rely on your concealer to give you the hydration that you need under your eyes. Rely on your skincare, and then whatever you put on top is going to look so much better because you've properly prepped your skin prior to the makeup application. So it just goes back to like, that's my mindset. That's just my view on it, to be honest. So, you know, the fact that it has like the hydrating core in the center, well, it's making the formula inconsistent and it's making the formula blend out patchy. I don't recommend this. I think it's frustrating. I liked it at first. The feeling of it on the top of my hand, excellent. I had high hopes. But the overall finish is just, it's not useful, to be honest. It's just not useful. So those are my thoughts. I wouldn't go back out and repurchase this one, sadly, even though I had high hopes when I first watched it. I don't recommend this for the reasons I just stated. So again, this is the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Hydrating Concealer. Okay, guess what? We're on our last drugstore concealer. This one is a whopping $17. Okay, I paid $16.95, but let's just round it up to $17. That's where I picked up from Walmart. That's the price I paid at Walmart. So it's the most expensive drugstore concealer out of all the ones we have tried. It is the Revlon PHOTOREADY Concealer. It's a stick concealer. You know, we're ending this video on another stick concealer and I'm not, you know, I'm not thrilled about it. Also, like, this whole, like, label is so hard to get off. I picked up the shade 04 Medium. So what else does it say? Okay, it's PHOTOREADY. That's all it says about it. So I don't know the wear time. I imagine since it's, you know, claiming to be photo ready, it's going to have like some kind of smoothing quality to it because that is what makes good makeup actually, like, that's what makes makeup photo ready is like those smoothing factors that give you like more of an airbrush quality to your skin. You know, hence why you would want to like photograph your skin while wearing those products. So I'm excited to try this. Has a twist up. I'm just going to warm it up on my hand first because I just want to. Just want to feel it. All right, coverage looks like it's going to be good coverage. Let's go ahead and swipe it on. Coverage looks nice. Going on nice and creamy. I feel like this is going to be probably more of a satin finish just based on how it went on. Okay, easy to blend. Very easy to blend. The finish is nice. Now, do I look photo ready? No, because I have no foundation on, but does my under eye look photo ready? Let's try a little bit more, because why not? Okay, so it's definitely buildable. I just built up a little bit more coverage. It feels lightweight under my eyes, and for a cream concealer, that's actually a really important thing to point out because cream concealers can tend to feel a little bit more heavy under your eyes because they're a thicker formula product. This actually feels very lightweight. Blend it out easy. The coverage is nice. It's not the smoothest formula by any means. I don't feel like I'm photo ready. And I don't feel like it's worth the $17 or, you know, $16+ I think there's just so many better formulas on the market that I just tried out and showed you in this video. And to be honest, it's just not impressive. It's okay. It's fine. There's nothing really wrong with it, but there's nothing really outstanding about it. And there's just, like I said, there's so many better formulas to try from drugstore that are way better that will just absolutely impress you. This is not one of them. It's not horrible, but it's not worth the money. I say, you know, just don't waste your money. Skip it. There are so many other ones to choose from. It's fine, but it's just fine, you know? And we can do better than fine, right? With all the options that we have nowadays, which is amazing, we can do better than fine. So I don't recommend it. I wouldn't repurchase it for those reasons. Not to be too mean. Those are just my thoughts. So once again, this is the Revlon PHOTOREADY Concealer. Okay, now that we've tried all of the drugstore concealers that I could find, mind you, let's do a roundup of what I think are the best and just my overall favorites. So let's get right into what I think are the best ones to check out. I have about 3 different categories. Let's get right into category number 1. Best for hydration, moisture, and just overall dry under eyes. These 3 are going to be the best, in my opinion, for anyone who has dry under eyes or, you know, dry mature under eyes, especially. These are going to be fantastic formulas. A few different things to point out, okay? The most hydrating and moisturizing for dry under eyes that has more of a lightweight coverage. So if you're looking for a lightweight coverage, I would definitely check out the Age Perfect from L'Oreal. Fantastic if you are falling into any of those categories. For a more medium coverage, but also feels more moisturizing, it has a radiant finish. This one's fantastic. It's the Neutrogena Radiant Cream Concealer. Looks beautiful on. Great coverage. It's about a medium coverage. Feels amazing under the eyes. And if you have dry under eyes, again, this is going to be a fantastic one to check out. Now, the best, more hydrating full coverage concealer, hands down, of course, goes to the e.l.f. Cosmetics Hydrating Camo Concealer. You can't go wrong with the e.l.f. Cosmetics concealers. They're just fantastic. They really are the best $7 you'll spend. So this one, of course, is a full coverage, and in my opinion, it's the best hydrating full coverage concealer that you can get in the drugstores. Now, the best, in my opinion, full coverage, long wearing formulas has to be one of these 2. Now, granted, I only tried it out for 2 minutes of the day of this video, but these are, in my opinion, going to be the best long wearing concealers that are full coverage. It's the COVERGIRL True Blend Undercover Concealer. This was fantastic, like really impressive concealer. Amazing, amazing coverage. And of course, the L'Oreal Infallible up to 24-hour wear full coverage concealer. These 2 I think are top notch if you want more long wearing. It has more of a dry down time, so it's going to be long wearing like I mentioned. These are fantastic. They're both more of a matte finish and extremely full coverage. I think these are the best in that category. I have 3 other ones to share, and I wanted to say I think these are the best overall. I couldn't narrow it down to one. I really couldn't. I tried, and I really can't do it. In my opinion, these 3 are a tie for best overall drugstore concealers. The first one is extremely full coverage. It's the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. It's just a fantastic formula. I don't know what else to say about it. Like, if you haven't tried this one, you should definitely check it out. The second one, in my opinion, that is a best overall concealer, hands down, Milani. Fantastic concealer. I mean, I can't think of one bad thing to say about this concealer. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Highly recommend this for an overall concealer. I think it's such a great formula. And then probably no surprise here, the last in my category of best overall drugstore concealers has to be and has to go to the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser Concealer. It's just a fantastic formula. You just heard me talk about it for a long time. I'll spare you the rest. But these, in my opinion, are the best overall drugstore concealers. You have to try them out. That wraps up this video. This was so much fun testing out all of the drugstore concealers. Please leave me a comment. Let me know which ones you've tried. Which ones are your favorite formulas from the drugstore? I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know what your top ones are and your best overall, in your opinion, drugstore concealers. I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know if you agree with me on these. There's plenty more videos like this where I buy one of everything in one category. You can check them out right here. I highly recommend the drugstore foundation one to watch next if you haven't already. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really helps me out. Give this video a thumbs up. I can't wait to see you in the next one. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.